Good afternoon, students. Are you hearing my voice? Okay, right. So, in our last class, we discussed about anti-caste movements as a part of the third module in Dalit liberation movements. Okay, so within the anti-caste movements, you are aware that particularly in the South Indian part, particularly in Tamil Nadu, Adi Dravida movement has started by the inspiration of Adi Dravida movement. Adi movement, Adi Andhra movement has started. Adi Hindu movement has started in Telugu speaking lands. And the same with the title Adi Hindu movement also started in the northern part, particularly the northern Uttar Pradesh. And apart from this, many other anti-caste movements which challenging the challenging the unequal social hierarchy in the Indian caste system, and also the Brahmin domination, which basically the reasons for this emergence of anti-caste movements in India. Within the anti-caste movements, we already covered Adi Dravida movement, uh, Adi Dravida movement in Tamil Nadu, and after the Adi Dravida movement, as a part of our inspiration of Adi Dravida movement, many reformers has emerged, basically within the Tamil area, Tamil speaking area. Okay, so among them, um, the important one is E.V. Ramasamy Nayakar, and before E.V. E.V. Ramasamy Nayakar, you also find Aite Tas. Aite Ayoti Tas, Tas also a important social reformer who was who had a great contribution to the development of anti-caste movement in Tamil Nadu. Okay, so I will go with E.V. Ramaswamy Nayakar's self-respect movement and some important things which he followed basically during the anti-caste movement in Tamil Nadu. Okay, so in the first anti-caste movement in Tamil Nadu was neither particularly ethnic oriented, it was rather religious in orientation, and it led by a Dalit, a Periyar Siddha physician, Pandit Ayoti Das. He had formed at the turn of the century the Sakya Buddhist Society or South Indian Buddhist League, based mainly on Dalits, but drawing in many intellectuals from other caste groups. Okay, so in many ways, this movement was a forerunner of Ambedkar's Buddhism. Ayoti Tas interpreted ancient ancient India as a Buddhist India. Like Pule, he saw an original peaceful and prosperous society overwhelmed and conquered by Aryans imposing their Brahmanic ideology and caste social system, uh, 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 caste and social system. Okay, so Ayoti Tas developed his perspective independently, and more than Pule, he saw the process as pioneered in deception rather than violence. Okay, to him, the Dalits of Tamil Nadu were casteless Indians or casteless Tamilians, descendants of Buddha's clan, uh, like the Sakyas. Okay, so the non-Brahmin movement, which arose in 1920s in Tamil Nadu, however, ignored this contribution of Ayathitas and was more elite-based elite um, based than in Maharashtra, with the relatively high caste Vellalas and other non-Brahmin landlords and professionals from the Telugu and Malayalam speaking regions able to confront the Brahmins on their own footing, increasingly without having to build much a mass movement. Okay, so their political party, the South Indian Liberal Association, was the most successful of the non-Brahmin parties in India in the Legislative Council, basically in the 1900, around 1900 AD. Okay, so by the 1920s, a new militant mass-oriented movement arose. Its leader was E.V. Ramaswamy Nayakar, Ramaswamy Nayakar, which is which was called by a name Periyar. Okay, so from a merchant family of Erode, he joined the Congress in 1919, then gradually became disillusioned with what he saw as its Brahmanic leadership. In the early 1920s, he took part in the Vaikom Temple Satyagraha and reportedly clashing with Gandhi while taking a militant position. And he later argued that Gandhi had pushed him out of the Satyagraha when he engineered a compromise. Okay, so nonetheless, Periyar returned to Tamil Nadu as the hero of Vaikom, and he subsequently clashed with Congress leaders over a proposed resolution, proposed resolution, reservations in legislatures for non-Brahmin and untouchables. Okay, so in the 1925, Periyar left the Congress in 1927. During a tour of South India, Gandhi defended Varnashrama Dharma, and the Periyar contested this hotly in personal meetings and in articles in his journal Kudiyarsu. He now claimed that three conditions were necessary for the country to gain its freedom and destruction of the Congress, of the so-called Hindu religion, and the Brahmin domination likewise. Okay, so Periyar formed the Self-Respect League in 1926, and its first conference was held in 1929. Okay, so this movement spread across Tamil Nadu, and its focus was similarly to the Pule Satyasodak Samaj, and opposing Brahmin priesthood, calling for the abolition of the caste and supporting the liberation of women. Okay, so he attacked all religions more than Pule did. Okay, so taking an atheistic stance that contrasted with the modified Saivism of the non-Brahmanic elite. In his words, there is no God, there is no God, and there is no God at all. And he who invented God is a fool, and he who propagates a God is a scoundrel, and he who worshipped God is a barbarian. Okay, so these are certain words basically the Periyar oftenly used. Okay, so the dialect between the Polish theism and Periyar's atheism was was a sense duplicated in small state of Kerala, where Narayan Swami Guru's one religion, one caste, and one God was opposed by his atheistic discourse Ayappan with the slogan "No religion, no caste, and no God for mankind." Okay, so the radical nationalism of the self-respect movement inspired many at the time. Okay, so among them, the poet Bharatidasan, who published his first collection in 1938, which evoked original Tamil values, not as in the sense of seeking a revivalistic return to a golden age, but as an inspiration for autonomous modernity. Okay, so when you see this Periyar's various things, basically which mentioned by Bharatidasan, and the Bharatidasan's socialism reflected a new radicalism and a temporary coming together of anti-caste and class themes in the early 1930s. Okay, so on the one hand, the Periyar's equalitarianism, anti-caste radicalism, and atheism, all expressed in powerful Tamil speeches, were attracted a group of militant lower caste youth. Okay, so giving a new encouragement to the old non-Brahmin movement and radicalizing it. Okay, so on the other hand, a sparking role was played by Singaravelu, a union leader from fish workers caste, who is considered to be the first communist South India. Okay, so Singaravelu also an important supporter of Periyar. Okay, so he had been another of the associates of Ayoti Tas. Okay, so Ayoti Tas, who started Sakya Buddhism basically. Okay, Sakya Buddhism Association in Tamil Nadu. So he was one of the follower of Ayotitas. Okay, so he was another of the associates of Ayotitas Sakyas Buddhism, and was also the first Indian to independently form a labor party. Okay, so Singaravelu Chetty was an important leader who formed a labor party, independent labor party from the southern part. Okay, so considered as a forerunner of the Communist Party. Okay, so in 1932, Periyar toured the Soviet Union, and was impressed by the concrete accomplishments of atheistic socialism, while Singaraveli wrote a series of articles in Kudiyarasu expounding socialism, a materialistic interpretation of history. Okay, so on Periyar's return from the Soviet Union, he and Singaravelu placed a new program before self-respect activities in December 1932, and it was suggested that a political party be formed using the name of Samadharma Party. Samadharma Party as the closest Tamil equivalent to the socialism. Okay, so socialism now began to be propagated from the self-respect platform, while the anti-lord and anti-money lender conferences were held by the non-Brahmin activities. Okay, so but these coming together of the left and anti-caste movement seemed doomed from the beginning. On the one hand, the conservatives in the non-Brahmin movement opposed it, and when in 1933 Periyar was arrested and jailed, it was clear that British pressure was on. Okay, so on the other hand, communist leaders centered in Bombay regarded any dilution of the class line with suspicion. Okay, so Singaravellus a type of indigenous socialism, and identified with the dangerous non-class forces such as the anti-caste movement and regional national identities, had to be kept under the a tight rein. Okay, so by 1934, Singaravelu, then in his 70s, began to argue that the term Samadharma should be dropped, and the movement openly identify itself as the socialist. Okay, so the real split was on a straightforward political issue. Okay, so whether in the 1934 elections, with no socialist party around, the self-respect movement should support the Justice Party or the Congress. Okay, so Periyar saw his political future in a revival and radicalization of Justice Party. Okay, so the left could see it only in the Congress, which by 1935 they were identified explicitly as the anti-imperialist unionist front. Okay, so in 1936, the communist leadership ordered Singarvelu and others to dissolve their organization and instead of joining in the Congress Socialist Party. Okay, so a part of the solidly All India Indian National Congress, within which the communists were working. Okay, so Dange speech at the conference which dissolved the movement stressed the dangers of linguistic nationalism. Okay, so he reminded the conference that not only the Tamil Nadu, but the whole of India is under British imperialist domination, and that unless the bondage of India under the British imperialism is destroyed on an all India scale, it is impossible even to dream a socialism. Okay, so the result of young radical communist cadres are um, leaving leaving the movement was to deprive it of a class thrust. Okay, so as Perrier and his co-workers clashed with the Brahmanic left, they increasingly identified with the linguistic nationalism. In the South, it was easy to give a specific ethnic and national identity to non-Aryan race, which is a ideology which is already popular. Okay, so the people obviously had a language with non-European origin, and original inhabitants were Dravidian or a Tamil. Okay, so Pule had attacked the story of Vishnu's avatars are representing an external Aryan conquest of the subcontinent. Uh, Periyar described it as a conquest of the south by the north. Okay, so Pule had taken Baliraja, the mythological peasant king, as a hero. The Tamils took Ravana as a symbol of the south. Okay, so in this, they were only following popular Ramayana traditions. Ravana is seen as hero in many non-Valmiki versions of the epic in South India and Southeast Asia, and even Kashmir. Okay, so the versions emphasize love and war and the heroism and tragic fate of Ravana, in contrast to the feudal, patriarchal, and hierarchical values emphasized by the Chinese and North Indian versions, which is centered around the Rama. Okay, so by the 1940s, Tamil or a Dravidian nationalistic themes were coming to dominate opposition politics. Okay, so in the 1936, as a Congress government, which is headed by Rajagopalachari, came to power in Madras province, as in the most part of India. So as Congress began what Sumit Sarkar has described as a steady shift to the right. Okay, so occasionally veiled by left rhetoric, and organizations of peasants and workers went on the offensive in many parts of the country. Okay, so in Madras as well, strikes and campaigns took place, but the split between the Periyar and the communist meant that there was no coordination of the class caste struggle, not even a search for a common ground. Okay, so Periyar himself was hardly an ideological, ideologically and took only passing interest in economic issues. Okay, so without the socialist cadres to push him on, he began to organize constant campaigns against against the imposition of Hindi, stressing the theme of Dravidian Tamil nationality. Okay, so with the rise of demand for Pakistan, the movement gained strength, and in 1939, Dravida Nadu Conference for advocacy of a separate and independent Dravidistan demanded a separate country along with the lines of Pakistan. Okay, so this is only due to the Dravidian ideology itself. Okay, so these certain Tamil leaders which are supporting a separate Tamil land, right? So regional nationalism regional nationalism was beginning to grow in various parts of India. The demand for Pakistan itself was from the beginning conceived not simply in the religious terms, but in the religious territorial terms identified with the Northwest and the earliest versions speak of Pakistan, Hindustan, and the Bengal. Okay, so along with the separation of Pakistan, many regional regional territories are also asking for their own land for their particular race or particular linguistic base. Okay, so similarly, Sikh Punjabi identity was expressed itself both in regional and religious terms by sharing with non-Brahmin and antagonism towards the Brahmin and Baniyas. Okay, so in Kashmir, Muslim Kashmiris are beginning to conceptualize their identity not simply in religious but in the regional and the ethnic terms as a Kashmirite. Okay, so likewise, many demands has emerged along with this along with the non-Brahmin concept. Okay, so um, uh, and you also the first convention of all Assam tribes and races federation in 1945 also which formed and it is also seeking for a new subnational identities are likewise. Okay, so these are certain important things, important demands along with the Tamil land or land for Tamils or a Dravidistan or a land for Dravidian which is started. Okay, so meanwhile, Periyar had decided to focus on question of India's future and succeeded in building a political organization that would become a major part in Tamil Nadu. Okay, so in 1944, he revived the Justice Party, changed its name to a Dravida Kajagam, okay, DK, the Dravida Kajagam, and declared its goal to be a sovereign, independent, and Dravidian republic. Okay, so the flag adopted was black with a red circle, and independence was declared a day of mourning for representing the enslavement of the Southerners. Okay, so and several um, several stands were brought together by the Dravidian Kajagam with their focal point being as Tamil nationalism and giving certain slogans like we want our country, change the name of Tamil Nadu, all India Union government means a government protecting a Hindu religion, we must leave the Hindu Delhi. Likewise, certain slogans also the Dravidikism fall. Okay, so in the Tamil nationalism, linked with the anti-caste movement, thus became a powerful force in South. Okay, however, it could win none of its major demands, and the post-independence Congress government succeeded in diluting the radicalism of Dravidian forces. Okay, so the DK, Dravidian Kazhagam, gave birth to Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam, DMK, and which gave up the separate demand and then to All India Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam, AIDMK, which capitalized on the charisma of its superstar leader and asserted an All India identity allied with Congress and eventually propped up with the Dead Heroes film, Star campaign as a temperamental dictatorial leader. Okay, so the major problem of the Dravidian movement remained the difficulty of winning the Tamil support. Okay, so something Pule had put at the center of his strategy. Okay, so in the Tamil Nadu, it was not the radical Ambedkar, but the Hindu Mahasabhite MC Raja, who was the most well-known Dalit leader, and his alienation from the Dravidian movement was the other side of distancing of the movement itself from the Dalits. Okay, so the South thus witnessed a powerful non-Brahmin movement and a strong opposition to Hinduism. But more than in any other region, was plagued by a splits between the communists and Dravidians and the Dalits and the non-Brahmins. Okay, so the currents of regional and subnational identity were thus significant during the colonial period, and they overlapped in the complicated ways with claims to a non-Hindu religious identity, but they nearly always shared a framework of opposition to to a Brahmin Bania Delhi-based centralized rule. Okay, so the logical outcome of these movements was not necessarily towards the establishment of independent nation state, and demands for independence were often raised, but the thrust was just as much on a decentralized federal structure with much more autonomous regions than the Indian Union, which came into existence. Okay, so the triumph of the Congress finally represented both a triumph of a Hindu identity and a centralized Delhi-based state in the Indian subcontinent. Okay, so likewise, the Periyar with his self-respect movement, and the Ayotitas Shakya, the Buddhism, and Buddha Association, both brought a important change in the society of Tamil Nadu. And apart from these, the Singarvelus, as a communist, as a socialist, he also had certain association with the Ayotitas and E.V. Periyar Nayakar, Ramaswamy Nayakar, and these three important leaders from the various lower classes, which brought certain change, particularly among the Tamil society. Okay, so these three leaders got their inspiration from the Adi Dravidian movement, basically. Okay, so Adi Dravida movement in the initial stages and later turned into a Dravidian movement, and the Dravidian movement, which is seeking a separate Tamil land. Okay, so while the separate Pakistani ideology and demand which is started along with this separate Pakistani, and these Tamil people also demanded for their own land for the Tamils. Okay, as a Dravidians, as a land for the land of the Dravidian. Okay, so these are various things, particularly uh, within the Adi Dravida movement, and about E.V. Ramaswamy Nayakar and Ayoti Thas, who had a certain contribution basically in the anti-caste movement, which started in colonial India, and basically from the Tamil speaking lands. Okay, so tomorrow we will going to see other movement which is inspired by the Adi Dravida movement, which is an important movement which started the in Telugu speaking lands, is Adi Hindu movement. Okay, so tomorrow we're going to see about the Adi Hindu movement. Okay, so this is end of my class. Mr. Chinnanagaya and Naveen, you had any doubts regarding this self-respect movements which is started by E.V. Ramaswamy Nayakar and Ayotitas, which is a great leader from the Tamil land. Okay, so are you listening? Chinnanagaya and Naveen? Are you listening my words? Is it clear? Both of you? Naveen and Chinnanagaya? Just respond me, yes or no. Chinnanagaya, have you any doubt? You raised your hand, no? Yes. Cheppandi. చిన్నగా చెప్పండి ఏమున్నది మీకు డౌట్.
No doubt, sir.
No doubt. Naveen Kumar.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So I'm going to end my class today and I will meet you tomorrow at the same time. Right? Ending my
Okay.
class.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much.